Hey everybody, welcome to Quarantined with Comics. I'm Matt.
Oh, and I'm Eliana.
Wake up over there, Eliana, for Pete's sake. Okay, what's going on today? How are you doing?
Good.
It's beautiful outside.
Yeah.
Last time we were here, it was a thunderstorm.
Yeah, it was really thundering.
You guys want to see my shirt? Check it out. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see that. It's Nashunga Day. Pretty cool. What are you wearing today?
It's a white shirt.
White shirt with pigtails. Okay, we're gonna get started with our Saturday comic review. I'm gonna go first. All right. Okay, the first comic that I have today is Green Lantern. Lantern, and it's season 2, number 1. I love this character. Um, I'm not typically a DC fan, but lately I've really been getting into some DC comics. I started looking at them because the variant covers on these DC comics are amazing. Not this one, this is not a variant cover, but the variant covers for Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, they're amazing. So I picked this up because I always liked this character because it has to do a lot with like various places throughout the universe and different Green Lantern characters. So this is about Hal Jordan, of course. He's from Earth, the space sector 2814. And so what's going on with this comic book is he is highly regarded within the Green Lantern Corps that protects the universe. And the elders have come to him because they are stepping away. The time has come for them to go elsewhere and do other things. They're like the protectors of the universe. And so it's time for them to step back and bring on a new generation of people who are aliens or beings, spiritual beings that are going to protect the universe. So he is sent with another character to go help find these and bring these new characters to the the place where all of these people like get together to have meetings and talk about protecting the universe, that sort of thing. So that's pretty much what this comic book is about. It was pretty good. Um, when at the end of the comic book, this character gets sent back to Earth, and so I'm kind of bummed about that because the reason I like these comic books is because they take place throughout the universe and he travels all over the place. So I was kind of looking forward to that. So we'll see how long it takes him to get back out of Earth, so back into the universe. Okay, so that's my first one, Eliana.
Um, this is mine. It's Roko's Modern Life, and pretty much it's about this like dog-looking thing, and has he pretty much goes out of job. He doesn't have a job, and then he gets like this really crazy roommate, which is like something I would not want. But it's a really crazy roommate, and he has like a job interview the next morning, and like it's crazy. And so pretty much, I think like he gets a job offer, but it's like it's to be continued. So I don't know what the job offer is, like the other one. But pretty much, he tries to work at this like chicken fast food restaurant, and it gets broke down. So I kind of feel bad, but hopefully the person gets a job.
Cool. I love Rocco.
Yeah.
Rocco's Modern Life. That was a classic. Cool. Okay, next one I have is um, a new one out. It's called X-Ray Robot. It's a Dark Horse comic. It's pretty cool. So what's going on in this comic book is there is a team of scientists who have discovered how to travel interdimensionally. And so they've built this robot to test their theories and see if they can travel through different dimensions. And the main scientist puts on this headpiece so he's able to see what the robot is seeing. And the plan is to start traveling and see what happens. And as a side effect of this experiment, the main scientist starts to go crazy. And the dimensions start to shift for him like in real life, in real time. And so it's very interesting because they get to a point, I don't want to give too much away. Check this out. I don't know if you can see that with the glare. But this is them traveling through another dimension. Pretty cool, huh?
Mm.
And so they, well, should I give the plot away? The spoiler? Okay, this will be a spoiler. So if you don't want to know what happens in the X-Ray Robot comic, skip this part. I'll give them a couple minutes to skip. Okay, so they, at some point, are traveling through different dimensions together and merge into one. So when they come back, like, not only did the robot disappear, but the scientist disappeared as well. And when they come back, they have merged into one. And it's the future scientist that has come back. Actually, I take that back. There are two. Now there's the scientist and the robot, but they are merged into one with the robot. And it's the scientist who's coming back from 277 years in the future. So it's really the scientist and the robot all in one. It's pretty weird. But we'll have to see what happens in the next issue. This is number 1, brand new comic that's out. Okay, Eliana, you're up.
This next one I read is called Action Lab Dogs of Wonder. And when I first opened it, I thought it was like a different story, because this part reminds me of an old book I used to read when I was like a kid. Cause it was called a Lucky, about a dog. You remember the lost dog? He didn't get home. I don't know if you guys know about that, but it's pretty. The dogs look like this, okay? And so pretty much it's really sad because he doesn't get cared for good people, people who care for him, because he was in a shelter place, and he wasn't really cared for well, and so then he went to another puppy shelter, and then it kind of gives you what happens next before. I really love when that happens. I don't know if that makes sense, but pretty much what happens is there's just there's an action, the action lab. It's a dog, and that just it helps dogs who've been in very abusive or very sad situations get out of it, and so there's other person the owner's dog that I don't know. She tries to go and they chase. Where are you? And they don't know. And then the person's it just you just don't know. I don't know if that made any sense, but
I don't know if it did either.
I don't know, but pretty much it just it's a really good one. And then I also it's a lot different from what I read when I was a kid, because it doesn't always give you the full story, but I thought it was really good.
I'm a big fan of superhero dogs.
Yeah.
What's that other superhero dog?
Underdog?
Underdog!
I love
yes,
that.
Of course. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. Okay, I'm going to do one more here before we bring on our special guest. And this is well, first I would like to say thank you to our producer and technical director, Abigail Smith. Can you come in here and say a couple words.
Hey.
She makes the magic happen on the technical side.
Yeah.
She turns on the music and turns it down real slow. She brings me the stand. You know, all the important stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So this next comic book that I'm going to review is called Charlie and Chloe, and it's by our friend Kelci Crawford, who is a local artist and writer who does comic books. So this is one of her comic books. This is a really, really good comic book. It's about there are two main characters, Charlie, who is this girl right here, and Chloe. I'm sorry. And so she is, I'm going to give the plot away. So if you don't want to hear this, please skip ahead. But she is walking home one night by herself. She goes to college and she is studying music. She's going to be a music professor. So she's living with a relative to get her bachelor's, and then she plans to get her master's and plans to get her doctorate's degree and teach music. So she's studying, and she's, I think, on her way home from school, and she's riding the subway, and then she's walking through the station, and she sees this crazy rock monster thing attacking this boy, and she can't believe her eyes. It bites his head off. So that's pretty intense. So she takes off running, and she winds up in a diner where she meets this character, and his name is Chloe. Clow.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
Why can't I get that straight? Kelci will have to correct us. It's Clow. I don't know if it's Clow or Chloe. So anyway, could go either way, you know. And so they befriend each other, and so he says that he will walk her home because she tells him this crazy story, and he believes her. And so they're walking home, and they get attacked by this giant rock monster thing. And so they try to run, but they get to the point where it's going to be useless, and so they need to fight. And there's a big fight, and together they're able to defeat this monster. She is a black belt in Taekwondo. And then we find out something really crazy, and that is, I'm going to give it away, so if you're going to read it, skip. That he is her guardian angel. Bum, bum, bum! But he's really cool, and he carries a gun, and he's got a mohawk, and a bunch of piercings, and he's got skulls for cufflinks. So he's pretty cool. And so he talks about how this creature escaped from the boundaries of hell. And so they needed to send him back there. So that's it. It's really, really good. You can find her online. I will put some links in this video to her stuff. She does all kinds of stuff. I'm sure we'll do a review of another one of her comics soon. And later, here in a second, when we bring on our special guest, we're going to tell a funny story and show you something else that involves Kelci. Okay, so at this point, Eliana, do you want to do the honors?
Yeah. Okay, so we bring our special guest, which is my mom.
Yay, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, Jenny, my wife, Eliana's mom, and we're making space here. Hello, my dear.
Hello. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. We have a couple exciting things going on today. One big exciting thing and that is it's our anniversary.
It is. We've been married for 17 years now.
17 years.
It's a long time.
Who thought I was old enough to be married 17 years? Okay, so we invited Jenny on as our special guest, and she read a comic book, and she's going to do the review. So you're on.
Okay. So I chose to do one of these comic books. It is based on a fantasy series by Robert Jordan called The Wheel of Time. And the one that I grabbed to read ends up being number 9 in the series. I'm trying to get away from the glare. Hope you can make that out okay.
Switch it like
Squish it.
sideways. No. There you go.
Okay. And the reason I picked this was because this the book series is old. I think I started it in high school, definitely read it through college, and I've reread it a couple of times because it's really well done fantasy. And I'm rereading it again now because during quarantine times, I needed some comfort reading, you know? So these are characters that are familiar to me and that I was happy to go back and revisit with. So when Matt told me that he had found some comics that were based on these, I wanted to check them out. So the one I picked, happens to be number 9 in the series, but I kind of just wanted to check it out and see if I was going to like it, and see how it compared, with the books that I love so much. So in this particular one, the series itself is 14 books long originally. For this, the very first book is called The Eye of the World. And I was just looking it up online, and just to cover that first book, there are 35 comics to cover that first book. It's almost 800 pages. But I'll tell you, I did enjoy this. Not everything, of course, is the way maybe I had pictured it when I would have read it as a novel. But what I like the things that they chose to include, and I liked the way that they are depicting things. And it made me think that, I would love to share these books with my kids, but it might seem a little daunting to say, here are 14 books that are each 800 pages long. But to present them in these shorter snippets of these comics might be more palatable and something that they might be willing to give a try. So you can look forward to that, Eliana.
Cool. All right. Excellent.
Okay.
So, can you tell the story about the Christmas that we
Christmas of 2018.
Christmas 2018 when we worked with Kelci Crawford.
I can. We had been seeing Kelci at different places around the area, at different comic book shows and Comic-Cons, just different things like that where she would have her own booth set up. And, we always like to support local artists. And then once Matt started reading her stuff, he really, really enjoyed it. And so as a Christmas gift, I contacted her secretly and asked if she could make if I could commission her to make a drawing of my family. And so if you can see here, it starts out with, this is me, and then there's Matt, there's Eliana, there's Abigail, the producer, and then our oldest daughter, Eldana. And so Kelci took these, I sent her several pictures of all of us, and she then created these hero images of us based upon, our actual physical characteristics, which I was so pleased with how it turned out and thought it was just fantastic. And so Christmas morning comes, and I'm real excited. I save it for the last one for Matt to open, and he opens it up, and he starts laughing and looks real funny, and he says, go ahead and get your last present from me. And here he had done the same thing. He had also secretly commissioned Kelci. Now he didn't have himself included, but he asked her to do myself and the girls. And so you can see, our costumes are the same in each one. I thought it was really neat to see, different variations on the same character drawings. It was really, really funny and really, gosh, makes you feel like you're connected and on the same page when something like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess on your wedding anniversary is a good time to revisit those kinds of things and think about that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It was
Scooch out of your way.
long trip to get here, I'm sure.
Woo, sorry about that.
Okay. Moving right along. Let's see. I did mine just now. Before the special guest.
Yeah, you just.
Yeah.
You're up.
Okay. So the next one I'm gonna be reviewing is Eliana, The Heart of the Spider, and I love this series a lot. But this series in particular, like this comic book, one of an important characters is in the hospital, and like pretty much is in the hospital, and then they tell the story, which reveals like what relation the girl had to her mom, which is really cool. And then so like, cause she's like the one who's like had to wake him up or something. And then you tell the story and how like the spiders, like the wasps, and like everyone was just all united, which I thought was really cool. Cause like I love hearing that, and like it's like, ooh, why are they separated and stuff now? But moving forward, later can't find the page, can't find it. But later, pretty much like there's this girl who has a crush on the other guy. He's like an enemy. They go to the school, and it's like really awkward because like you're like.
Is that the Egyptian person you talked about in the first or second episode?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, pretty much that is what's happening, and then they go to like this mini cafe area like place, and it's like there's talking and everything, and then like I think they're either walking there or walking back. Like something goes through around here, like a ghost like thing. So I thought that was really cool. Like, it was like super. But after that, like the same person who's like the ghost comes back and like makes like a whole disturbs the whole piece of the cafe, and then like, they're fighting, and I'm just like, dang. Cause like they just like why you gotta ruin a good day, Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Okay. My next comic is Strayed #2. If you remember, I reviewed the first one. I don't know if I did that the last show, episode 2 or episode 1. I can't remember. I think it was the last time. So just to get you caught up to speed, this is about the cat Lou, and his owner is the scientist who discovered how to communicate with him. And what's special about Lou is that he can travel throughout the universe. He does astral projection. And so, of course, the government has taken them, and at this point is holding them against their will and forcing him to do missions where he travels throughout the universe doing astral projection to find worlds that they can get the resources from, so they can continue to push out into the universe, and humankind can spread out and sort of be the dominant species throughout the universe. So he comes across all sorts of different creatures and different planets, and they're very interesting. And there's drawings of what some of those worlds look like in here as he's traveling through. And the issue is, so at this point they found a energy source that is unlike anything they've ever seen before, and it's perfect. And it comes from this flower. and they've discovered that this flower is perfectly designed through. It's created through DNA manipulation and genetic, a DNA manipulation and creation and things like that. So they are looking for these flowers everywhere, and they find several worlds that have these flowers, and so they go in, and the government goes in, and if they get resistance from the people who live on these, or the creatures that live on these planets, they completely wipe them out and destroy them. And so what happens is the humans decide that they want to take it a step further and find the aliens that created the flower, because they think that they can live forever and they want to, get those secrets, and so they can live forever. And so Lou is getting sicker. Each time he goes out, he becomes more sick. It takes a toll on him. And he is not doing well. And so they are forcing him to continue because they feel like they're really close to finding these aliens. And he's not able to find them. He's looking and looking and looking. And he's discovering all these worlds, but he's not discovering the creatures who created this flower. And then, at the very end of this comic book, something happens that has never happened to Lou before. And that is, in his mind, something is communicating with him. So he is hearing the voice of another being in his mind who's coming to him. And this is the creature, the being that is coming to him. And so I'm sure most of you can guess that these are the beings who created the flower. And so we don't know what's going to happen next, but this ends with this being coming to Lou. Like, Lou doesn't find him, the being knows that Lou is looking for them, and so he comes to him. So we'll have to do episode 3 or issue 3 next time.
Mm.
So that's straight. I love this series, so you should check it out. Okay, Eliana, what do you have? One more?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is Miss Marvel. It is number 13. And pretty much what happens in this one is, there's a thing with voting. Pretty much with the voting in it, it's more like, people just, they don't want to vote. They don't have, any motivation or anything, or they aren't able to vote because of work or something like that. And then, so then she pretty much makes an inspirational speech, pretty much saying, it's okay, if someone tells you can't vote because of work or something, that's against the law, and then, it doesn't matter, even if you don't like whoever is, running, it's fine to vote still, and, that happens, and, she also, has to, because apparently, with this vote, because they don't want someone to be elected, to win, because that person is not a good person.
I just want you to lower that because
it's a bad guy, and we don't want that. So she tries to make people vote for another person, and show that all votes count and stuff. Which is also just in general, I think it's also good to talk about because it's okay if people don't want to vote. It's wholly up to you because you don't. It's very I think it's up to you and your own mind and everything. But I think I really like this. Miss Marvel's a really good inspirational person, and in general, and I really like how I just love it. I love the book and the comics and everything.
Okay. Very good. Were you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more to review, and that is This one's from Image Comics. The Eternal Conflicts of the Cosmic Warrior. There he is, the Cosmic Warrior. This is a strange comic book, and I love strange comic books. And this one starts out telling a tale about Leonard. And Leonard was raised up and became a great leader of his people. Let me read this to you. In the beginning, when the universe was still being born, there was Leonard. When he spoke, creation listened. When he sang, creation was filled with joy and hope. It was Leonard's voice that gave creation its soul. And then he was raised up as a great leader of his people, and everything's fine. And then there's a great war. And Leonard cannot save his people. They're overcome because they're greatly outnumbered. And so the enemy captures him, and they want him to sing for them because he has these amazing powers. And he refuses. And so they torture him. They cut off his hand. He still won't sing. They cut off his feet. He still won't sing. And eventually they get really upset, and they cut out his tongue. It's pretty weird. It's a pretty crazy comic book. I mean, they don't show it or anything, but, they tell the story. And so, as time goes on, that was a long, long, long time ago from the time of this story. So as time goes on, those stories become legends. And the people are sort of living in darkness because they feel that Leonard is gone. And so there's no soul to the universe. There's no light to the universe. But there is a relic of Leonard that's being held in a monastery of monks, and it's being protected by monks of the religion that follows Leonard. And so one night there's a knock at the door, and the monks open the door, and there are people who claim to be worshippers of Leonard, and they want to come in and worship. And so they let them in, and they are really secret spies who have come to steal the relic. And so the first thing that they do when they walk through the door is chop off one of the monks' heads. So that sort of sets the tone for the coming pages. And the relic that they're looking for is you won't believe this. The relic is the hand of Leonard itself. It's been kept in this glass case. It's pretty wild, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And so the enemies get the hand, but there's a knock at the door. And the guards who are guarding the door are all destroyed by, you guessed it, the Eternal Cosmic Warrior. So, the Cosmic Warrior comes and just beats everybody except for the main leader of this group. And what happens is she destroys the hand so that nobody can get it. And that is where this comic ends. So, you can see the cosmos right there under his cape, or whatever that is. And so the part that is frustrating about this comic is there has never been a second edition. I can't find one anywhere. There's really no information about whether this will start up again, but you're left in limbo. So it's kind of mysterious, and I am hoping that someday we will get to find out what happens with the Cosmic Warrior. So, pretty weird, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now This is the part of the show where we show our covers of the week. So, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. My cover of the week is Wonder Woman number 754. So, as I said earlier, I'm not a huge DC fan, or I didn't think I was a big DC fan. I tend to always go Marvel. But lately, they have been doing an amazing job with putting out comic books that have variant covers. So not the normal cover that's released on the first issue, but doing special covers by artists that are just killing it. And so, all of the DC comics that come out usually have variants. Like I have some Hawkman variances, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, like all of those comics. And so I picked this one because I think the art is just amazing. I don't know if you can see that. So that's Wonder Woman there. And the artwork is just amazing. So that's Wonder Woman number 754.
Okay, mine is The Misplaced. That's chapter 1. I just really like the rose. And I love the rose part.
Yeah, it's kind of dark, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really dark. And then on the back, you have this.
Ooh, a shadow.
I didn't realize that until later, but you have a shadow.
Awesome.
So it's really mysterious.
It is very mysterious. And I've read the first 3 comics of those. You should read it. It's very mysterious and kind of dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting story. So you should read it and maybe do a review. It's kind of intense and heavy, but it's good. Mm-hmm. You'll like it because you like weird stories about ghosts and various things like that. Mm. So I think you would like that. Okay. Well, that was fun. It's beautiful outside. You should go outside. And is there anything else you'd like to say, Eliana?
No.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Saturday. Be safe.